there is no trace of your existence whatsoever. Did you know that most of you are already clones? Here, nothing is impossible. The only thing impossible is the word itself. You have the opportunity to be a 1 in a billion. Welcome. I welcome you all into the 21st century. Here, nothing is impossible. The only thing impossible is the word itself. But you see, that's not the problem. The problem is that, unlike most of us, most of you are living in the 19th century. Most of you still exist in the 17th century. Most of you have no impact in this century, but in the 12th maybe you do, in the 10th maybe you do, but in this century there is no trace of your existence whatsoever. But don't worry. Today, with 3 things that you can understand, I will help you travel through time. Travel from the 16th to the 17th to the 18th to the 19th to the 20th and even the 21st. If you choose to travel with me, I will take you there. But first, you have to understand one thing. The thing is, most people tell you that in the nearest future, we're going to have robots. We're going to have clones. We're going to argue in Congress. And we're going to have the president and the news station having a debate about whether it is normal or abnormal, right or wrong to have a clone. To have another copy of a human being. To create something that wasn't created naturally. To have 2 of him, 2 of you, if not 10 of you. But there's just one little problem. Did you know that clones already exist? Did you know that most of you are already clones? You wear what you wear because you see somebody else wearing it. You talk how you talk because you hear somebody else talking that same way. You love what you love, not because you truly love it, not because you inhale and breathe and you love every single moment that the passion brings to you, but only because your legend, your model, your role model loves that, and so you choose to love that. So tell me, are you not a clone? The first step is to understand who you are. The truth is, your DNA will never occur in a time other than this. It never occurred in the past, and it will never occur in the future. That's how spectacular you are. Do you know that out of 10 million, if not even more sperms in the body, you were the chosen one? You were the luckiest one to make it down to this point. And yet you choose to be a clone? You have the opportunity to be a 1 in a billion. 60 billion people on earth, and no one has your smile. No one has the color of your hair, the color of your skin, the name you have. But yet you choose to be a clone. The first step is understanding who you are. A few weeks ago I saw an episode of Brain Games. And in this episode they carried out an experiment to test how people are copycats. And what they did was this. They went to the middle of a carnival where nobody would expect anything apart from the regular fun and happiness and drinks and party to happen. And they put a sign there saying, the line starts here. Nothing more. Just that. And they left it there. And they wanted to see how people will react to it. Will people go up and stand in a line that they know leads to nowhere? Will people go and stand in a line where they know nothing about, where they don't know the end or the beginning, or they don't know anything about it? Will they go and stand? Well, of course they're not stupid. Why would they go and stand on a sign that they know leads nowhere? So, as we all expected, nobody stood there. They waited 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, still nobody there. But then the intelligent people made one small tweak, one small change to the experiment. that redefined everything. They put one man there. Just one person. And as he stood there, 5 minutes passed. Somebody else walked in line. 10 minutes passed. 10 people were already in line. An hour passed and they had a line of 1 million people in total, if not more. Why did they choose to stand there? They didn't know where it led. The guy told them, I don't know where this line leads, I'm just standing here. And they said, oh, we might as well just stand too. And from 1, it became 2, it became 5, it became 15, and then it became 1 million. 1 million people. How many things have you stood in line for only because someone else is standing there? How many times have you made a decision not because you choose to, but because you see someone else doing so? Don't be a clone. In order to operate in this 21st century, to redefine your time, for the next 10,000 years, if you want us to remember your name, Ike, to remember all your names, whatever it is, Nena, whoever it is, if you want us to remember your name, you have to make that decision not to be your clone. And until that point, you will continue to live in a time before now. Number 2, understand people. The truth is, when you think about people, most of you have bad stories. You have a mother who wasn't there, a father who betrayed you, a friend who talks too much, someone who's a gossip. Or we all have our stories, yes, I understand. But did you know that the greatest gift we ever got was not our brains? It wasn't fire, it wasn't food, it wasn't shelter. It was a second man. Do you know what the power of communication is? Do you know the joy that comes from telling your story, from having somebody to rely on? But we neglect these things because we do not understand. Having a second human being on this planet is the best thing that we could have. Just imagine for 1 second that you are the only man that there is in existence. One thing I know I'll do on the first day is this. I will go to Walmart, pick the best food I can, cook it up and eat it. After I finish eating for 3 days, then I will realize that I'm the only man on this earth. And from that point, I will start to dwindle and dwindle and dwindle and dwindle and dwindle until I reach the point of depression. But that's the power another human has on you. Imagine you never had a friend to talk to, a father to say I love you, a friend to listen to you when you have a problem, a shoulder to cry on. What world would that be? But yet we complain, we grunt, we talk about the bad things about people, and we forget about the things that make them beautiful. You have to understand people. A few days ago I worked at Walmart, and 90% of the people that work with there always have one thing bad or one thing sad to say about it. But when I went there, I chose to change it. I chose to create a new perception. Every customer that walked past my eye, I smiled. I had a conversation. I wanted to learn from them and them from me. I wanted to know what made them think. I wanted to hear the story, and so I did. One day this lady, the first lady to ever push me to my limit, although I didn't cross it, thankfully, came up to my register one day, and then she gave the worst attitude ever. She saw a vacuum at the back for a certain price, and she wanted us to change it for her. But then when we went to the back, when I went to the back, I noticed that it was on the wrong spot, moved by another customer. I tried to explain to her that, unfortunately, I won't be able to change this price for you because it's not our fault, it's somebody else's fault. And then she insisted that she wanted to see a manager. The manager came, told her the same thing I told her, but then she still insisted. And in that moment where she kept on insisting, she kept on cursing at us, making gestures, she was on the phone, she kept on giving bad attitudes. And in the end, the manager had no choice but to say, you know what, just go ahead and do it for her. And so I did. And as I did, I heard her on the phone, she was saying, I hate Walmart. I'm never coming back to this Walmart. Boy, you better tell her that. Tell him to leave me alone or I'm going to whip him back. You know what? I don't want to come back here. I ain't going to do this anymore. And she kept on going and going on the phone. I hate Walmart. I don't like Walmart. And when she finished, I said, thank you for shopping at Walmart. what did I do? Even though I knew this was somebody who gave me the worst attitude any other person had. This is the person that gave me the worst service from a customer that I've ever gotten. The worst customer ever. But did I choose to let that mask who she really is? No. A few months ago I got a promotion, and the same lady walked into the store and she saw me and she said, "Oh, you're a manager now?" And I said, "Yes, I am." And she smiled and she said, "Congratulations." What would have happened if I chose to retaliate? If I chose to give her the equality to what she gave me, what would have happened? You have to understand who you are and also understand people. If you don't want something to be done to you, do not do it to another man. Because at the end of the day, what will it profit us if we have two angry people in the world? Isn't it better to have one? Exactly. And finally, number 3, understand the world that you live in. You see, this earth that we live in, there's certain principles that were put through the foundations of time to remain constant. One idea that I've come to understand and I hold on to is the fact that just like your computer doesn't need Bill Gates to stand beside you to operate it, so did God when He created this world. And my idea of the universe is God created it. So did God when He created this world. He set so many principles in place so that He doesn't have to be present for the universe to work. Principles like whatever goes up will surely come down. Whatever is at rest will continue to be at rest unless acted upon by an external force. Or whatever is in motion will continue to be in motion unless acted by an external force. Laws that say every action equals an opposite reaction. Laws like the more you give, the more you receive. Most people don't understand that law, but I'll explain it to you in the short time I have. You see, truly, the more you give, the more you receive. The more time you put into something, the more time you get out of it back. Take, for example, 2 sons who their father called once and said, "I've given the both of you 2 seeds, and I want you to plant it. And at the end of the day, let me see what you will yield." And the 2 sons went out. On the same soil, they planted the seeds. Not different soils, but on the same soil, they planted the seed. The only difference was that one chose to water his seed. One chose to give him more time, give him more care, give him more love than the other one. While the other one totally neglected the seed, gave his time to something else. Whether it mattered or not, it doesn't matter in this context. But he did not give time to his seed. And then what happened? At the end of the day, did the trees grow? Yes, of course they did. We have the dew, we have the rain, we have the sun. Of course, they're going to grow. But what makes a difference? The difference is the fact that the one that gave more time and more care yielded 10,000 fruits, while the one that neglected it yielded 100. Why? Because he chose to put more time. The reason why your relationship hasn't worked is because you haven't put more time into it. Believe it or not, no matter how angry the person gets, why don't you be the patient one? Why don't you be the one that takes time to study him or her and choose not to upset them? The more time you give, the more you receive. The more love you give, the more love you receive. The more you give, the more you receive. So today I beg you, if you choose to travel through time and make an impact upon this 21st century, because this century will not last for long, and if you choose not to make an impact here, I promise you, you will not make an impact in the 22nd or the 23rd. Because it doesn't end here. We are still going to travel into the future. And if you choose to travel with me, you have to understand who you are, understand people, and understand the world that you live in. My name is Godwin Ukaa, and today, I hope you have chosen to travel with me.